Live. Let's get that up there. Getting set up while you guys join. Give me a sec here. Usually takes a couple minutes for people to come on in, so I'm gonna finish getting myself square here. Didn't have a video this week. We've been doing a lot of garage cleaning and whatnot, trying to get some space in here. But thought I'd hop on a live and do a little bit of a hangout. We haven't done a garage hang in a while, so thought I would do that. Hello, welcome. I'm just finishing squaring things away, waiting on everyone to join or who's gonna join or whatever. We haven't done one of these in a while, like I said, so there's been lots of things happening since the last one, so I thought I'd hop on and see if anybody had any questions, anybody wanted to ask anything, etc., etc. Hope everyone's had a good week, a decent week. Don't know about where you are, but the weather and things here has been incredible. Feels like springtime, even though I know it's not. It's just teasing me. Hello, welcome. Happy Friday to you as well. What's the latest on the Evo? Well, it is sitting right over here. I've been kind of quietly working on getting some coolant leaks figured out. We did that one video about changing the hoses and stuff like that with the heater core, but there's still been a little bit of a droplet, so I've been kind of going through and off camera and just tightening up some clamps, fixing some things, trying to see if I can get everything not to drip anymore. So we got that taken care of. We have, let's see here, let me grab the phone off the tripod. We have got this thing going here. I finally decided, I'm not sure how far along you've been following, but we were going to do this in carbon fiber or fiberglass. I think I have decided to go with fiberglass to try it out because I don't know how it was going to work, if the mold's going to work properly. So I didn't want to waste the materials on the carbon fiber to try it. So we're going to try fiberglass first, see how it looks, see how it works, all that kind of stuff, and then we can go from there. But I'm going to be trying to get that sorted out here in the next little bit. That video will probably be next week. I got the materials and whatnot now, so it should be easy to tackle and try to get it done best we can anyway. Wash the engine bay. I think my alternator went to shit. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. It can do that. There are some things that you need to put a bag over sometimes on that stuff. But yeah, alternators are tough to get to in the back of there, so that's a bummer. Have you checked your battery? Maybe it's your battery. Maybe it just had maybe coincidentally went out or something like that. How many subs am I going to run? I'm going to run one probably. I thought about two, but I kind of decided against it. I'm going to try to build a box that goes right here. Not sure if you watched the videos or not, but I tried so many ways to get a box to go in there. I ordered so many things and returned so many things trying to get it to fit in there. So I'm going to do just one on this side. For now, when you guys see this complete, there'll just be 1 amp in the middle. But there'll be 1 amp on each side. So we're going to put one kind of angled here and angled here. One will be the sub amp, one's the component amp, of course. And so we'll do all that and get that stuff squared away. But at first we'll have just one there. But yeah, just one sub. Probably end up going to be a 10-inch. Wanting to do a 12. I thought there for a little bit, but I went with the 10. I thought about going an 8 because the boxes just would not fit. So I thought about going to a smaller size sub. And with an 8, the amps that I run would be too powerful for the 8-inch. So I spoke with some guys at Crutchfield and some other places, and they were like, the amps would be a little bit too much for those subwoofers. So I'm kind of stuck with a 10 unless I want to redo all my amps and everything, which I don't. So yeah, that'll be that. It's not holding charge past 60% and I have the DC5 kit. Yeah, that's not too good, I don't think. I'm not sure off the top of my head how you would check an alternator for that, but have you seen the thinner magnet subs? 2-channel and a 4-channel. The subwoofer amp is a mono, and then the component is a 4-channel. Yeah. But I have not seen. Well, I have seen the thinner subs that go like under a seat and stuff like that. And I thought about doing one of those because Alpine makes one of those as well. Because that's the thing too is we did the Alpine head unit and all the door speakers are Alpine, all that stuff are Alpine. And I have a little bit of an issue about like mixing brands, and so it has to be Alpine now. And so I was looking at those boxes, and they still are a little bit too wide to fit in that little cubby hole there. So yeah, I tried ordering so many things. I didn't order one of those, but based off of the measurements I have, I don't think it'll fit. So I decided to stop trying to waste everyone's time about shipping it and shipping it back and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna have to build my own. Yours is JL. How do you like your JL stuff? I've always been curious of JL. I've never ran JL. I've ran Alpine for years. I ran Kicker to start with when I first got into cars. I ran Kicker stuff, but then once I switched to Alpine, I could get everything in one go. I just kind of stuck with them, but I've always wondered about JL subs and amps because I know they're said to be really, really good. JL subs are amazing. Yeah, that makes sense. I've always heard that. I've never experienced it myself, but maybe one of these days I will. Maybe I'll have to get over my my OCD of having the same brand of everything. What sub do you have? Do you have a 10 or a 12 or what? $110. That's really all you need, honestly. I mean, unless you're trying to like really rattle the car up. I mean, I've had 212s before. I've had 210s. 212s are just monsters, especially they were Alpine Type R's, so that's like at the time it was their like heaviest hitting sub, and man, it was a lot. And so I really think if you just want like a clean audio tone and a little bit of sub to it, a little bit of bass to it, 1 is all you really need. And I think a 10 with the right amp and all that is plenty, in my opinion. But if you want that big boy bass, I guess 12s are way to go. Ran 2 8-inch in my R35 and it was so clean. Yeah, I really have changed my thoughts on that over the last several years about 12s and 212s and 210s and all that stuff. Like 8s and 10s are where it's at for just like clean, solid bass. I just think it's the better way to go. I put 110 in my old Tacoma that I had, and it was perfect. Brazil, hello. That is awesome that you are from Brazil. It still blows my mind when you guys come in, like comments on videos and in the lives and all that, and you guys are from all over. It's wild. Are you running JL amps as well, or do you have a different brand? I'm gonna shoot you a video on IG of the GTR. Thank you, I respect you. Yeah, man, of course. Kenwood, nice. I've heard good things about those, I guess. Many years ago, there were some issues and things with some head units, I believe, but overall, I've heard good things about them. Uh-oh, you got time. I keep forgetting that I have that Nightbot set up, but yeah, I think you may have put Brazil in there a bunch of times and it timed you out. Sorry about that. Tried to keep the spam stuff to a minimum, so I put that Nightbot in place a long time ago, and I often forget that it's even still there. With audio, there is really no one. Yeah, I mean, at least for me, like Alpine has like head units, amps, components, subs, all that kind of stuff. So I can run that singular brand with them. But I mean, it really is how do you want to mix it. I mean, there's so many different things, so many different brands and ways to do it. I mean, as far as like the audio equipment and stuff like that, I can run generally the same company with like the fuse boxes and like all that kind of stuff to spread things out. But yeah, there's tons of ways to do it. I've never had an issue with Alpine stuff. I ran them, like I said, for years and years and years, and the only issues I've ever had with Alpine stuff is of my own doing. And so I've never had just a product fail or not be good or have some type of issue with quality, nothing like that. So yeah. Their big V12 amp from Kenwood or JL? I'm assuming Kenwood, but no, I don't think I remember that. Or Alpine. I'm not sure which one you mean, sorry. Alpine? Now, I do remember they had some big amps. Back, this was around the time, whenever I was running Kicker stuff, I was running, what was that brand called? It was like an orange amp. Cadence. I was running Cadence amps at the time. And that amp was, that was a monster too. That, those 12-inch kickers were really, really loud. You remember that? Yeah. It seemed like at the time, like back then, like Cadence amps were everywhere. I'm not sure what happened to them. I don't really see them anymore. I'm assuming they're no longer a thing. But when are you going to finish the Evo? Well, I mean, I'm hoping to like finish it here soon. I mean, it's running and driving now. I do need to. We just changed. I'm not sure if how many videos ago now this was, but we just changed the thermostat back to an OEM thermostat, and so my AFRs are a little funny. So we're doing another like remote tune kind of thing to get that kind of cleaned up. But other than that, I mean, it's good to go and drive and all that. We're just working on the trunk and all that stuff now. Everything seems to be buttoned up and all that. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's technically done, but there's always something small to do. So I do apologize, but I cannot. It's as a typical. I do not speak. I can't understand what you're putting there in the text. I apologize. What stage? I'm not sure what you would call it as far as like stages are concerned, but it's fully built. I mean, I have it's a MAP stage 2 block. I have an MAP stage 5 head. All that's totally built, fully done. So I'm not sure what you would call that stage, but it's totally built. How much horsepower? I'm not 100% sure on that. We've only done a street tune. We're assuming around 500 and so. It should be around in that area, but we have not done it on a dyno yet. I think Desmond was going to come up to North Carolina sometime this year, maybe. There's a shop up here he was going to go to, so we may be taking it there to have it dynoed. I'm not 100% sure, but we're assuming somewhere around in there. It's a fully built motor, all that stuff with tubular headers, everything like that. I mean, everything on it has been done, and it has an FP Black turbo with 1650 injectors, I do believe, if I remember correctly. So yeah, the FP Black and the 1650s seem to be right around that range normally. I didn't want to do bigger injectors than that. ECU is the stock ECU for right now. I do have like a desire to put it on a standalone, so we'll see what happens with that. What other car could you, or would you compare it to? Oh man, that's tough. I don't really know. I've tried to drive a few different things over the years, and nothing as far as what I have driven has compared to it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess obviously stock from the early years, the Subarus are the closest like all-wheel drive like rally car kind of thing that I would put together as being close to what they do. But Even those things, I've never like driven those hard, but I've ridden in them and driven them like kind of spirited, I guess you could say. And the handling and like just how this car feels, I haven't driven personally anything that has compared to it. Hey, I've been watching your YouTube videos from the beginning and has massive inspiration not only on my build, what I would like to do to mine, but also the massive in my eyes. I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching the videos. I'm glad you're finding some enjoyment out of them. I started this whole channel just because I wanted to kind of document everything I was doing and learning and all that. So glad to hear that you're enjoying them and they are providing you some value. I was always wanted to say, like, at least I hope if they're not like, I'm not always learning something new, so hope they at least provide some entertainment value at the very least. And to inspire you. That's what I really wanted to do as well, just to inspire everyone to work on their cars and have fun with it and not worry about everything and just do what you wanted to do to them. What all are you doing to yours, or what has kind of like opened your eyes? Is it like the parts I'm using, or the processes, or the details, or like how would you say? I'm interested in learning that. It gives me things to go off of and to think about moving forward, you know. Plan on any racing? Maybe not with this one. I do have a desire and a plan to build another Evo. I want to find a shell and turn it into like a hill climb kind of car, time attack sort of thing. That would be super cool. I would love to do that because there is a company from where I'm originally from in West Virginia now. They kind of do the whole Appalachia kind of thing. It's Drift Appalachia, but they do some other events as well. There's a hill climb series and whatnot, and most of those are really close to and around the area I grew up in, so I know the roads and all that, so I think it'd be super cool to take an Evo there to do that. I don't know how I feel about taking this one because there's been just so much work done to it and stuff like that, so it's kind of like a, I don't know what we want to call it, but I wouldn't mind having one to just thrash on and not worry about anything. And so I do have plans of wanting to do that though. I would recommend you do a standalone, either a Link or a Haltech. Yeah, after spending all that money on your motor. And yeah, I do agree. I have been looking at the Link systems. I'm wanting to do one of those in my truck as well. When we start working on the Tacoma, I want to take that and do it straight to a ECU, a standalone. So I have been looking into that kind of stuff. So I like what the Link stuff is, how it's looking as far as how everything comes together. Seems to be easy to use, all that kind of stuff. So I have been checking into that for sure. For me, what's most of your parts, which got me inspiration from your YouTube videos? Nice. Well, I appreciate it either way. I'm glad that they are providing something for you and all that. So that is cool to know for sure. And it is windy outside. Not sure if you guys can hear the door like rocking back and forth, but it's supposed to storm later today, but I didn't think it'd be that bad. Scroll up a little bit. Did I miss anything? No, I don't think I did. All right. All caught up on the comments. Did you do any racing? What kind of stuff do you do? I've always been intrigued by autocross as well, but again, that's kind of like, I don't really know about that, but I feel like the hill climb stuff and the other forms of spirited driving would be more up my alley, I guess you could say. You're based in the UK and now spending $15,000 to do just the underside. I'll move on to the body, which I do myself in the background. Nice. Well, yeah, I read that right. That's awesome. I mean, just trying to think of what to say about the whole process because it's been such a long process for me, I guess. It's been not your typical like YouTube series build. It's been quite a while working on this thing. So thinking back to everything, I was just under the car not long ago, and I think I put up a short about it, but I was just under there like looking at everything. And it's like, it's wild how far it's came and how much work it was, but it's super gratifying. It's very, very cool to do it all on your own. I never had done anything like that before, so learning all that stuff along the way and doing everything we did, it's just wild to look back on it and see how much work was actually done to it. I do forget sometimes how much we have done, but yeah, it's super gratifying and very fun to see and see it kind of come together and see how everyone thinks about it as well. The link plug and play is a great option. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Haltech obviously is Haltech, so it's going to be like quality. So you can't really go wrong there, I guess you could say. But I do think that the link stuff looks a little bit easier for me, at least, to use. I would have to have some help with the Haltech, I think. I'd probably still have to have help with the link, but it just seems more like user friendly, I guess you could say. Haltech does have a lot of parameters, it seems, so you can really get into everything, but I'm kind of like tossing around the idea of like, am I too over my head with that? Or what the option would be there. But with the truck, I am wanting to like redo all of the wiring, so I think I can tackle it. I think I can get it in my headspace that I can do it. It's just diving into it. I still have to find a company to do your engine. I do want to do. Oh shoot, that's a big amount of horsepower there. Can you help me on any company where you are? I used MAP. I mean, they redid my engine and I got my head from them and all that. So MA Performance is a good company for that kind of stuff. And then I ordered most of my stuff and did most of my work through STM Tuned. They have tons of OEM stuff. They got pretty much anything that you'd want. If you contact them, if they don't have it on their site, I'm sure they can get it. But yeah, those are the two I used. As far as like getting things, shops around here, I'm not 100% sure. The shop I used to use is no longer in business in Virginia, which is a little bit north from me. I haven't gone anywhere down here to a shop, so I'm uneducated on that. So that's about all I can give you. Desmond is the guy you need. Yeah. He's been doing the remote tune. I'm not sure if you've been following along or not, but he's been doing the remote tune, and he's great to work with. He has been super understanding of me and my scheduling and how sporadic I am and how spaced out things are. So he's been a great help for everything. But I feel bad sometimes to like just berate him with questions, and so I don't know if I would feel. I mean, I would feel comfortable doing it, but I wouldn't, I don't know. I just don't want to bother him with like a bunch of ECU questions and stuff like that. I feel like I'd be just taking up his time, but because he's a busy dude, that's for sure. Do lots of my own reading and get confused and then try to clear it up and then ask someone and see if they can clear it up as well. But just dive in head first and see where it gets me and then kind of go from there and backtrack the mistakes, I guess. You said 2000 bhp. I'm assuming that means 2000 base horsepower. And I'm just curious as to like, are you going to drag the car or like, what's your end goal with that? That seems like that's a lot of horsepower, especially for these cars. Or I mean, these cars can do it. They have done high numbers like that, but I'm not sure if you're meaning like that type of a metric or what you're going for there. But that is a wild build for sure. It sounds like. If you're his customer, he will show the info. I mean, I don't doubt that he would. I don't doubt that he would help and answer all my questions because he has so far, and he's been super understanding. I personally feel like I don't know. I don't want to say a burden, I guess, but I don't want to like bother him with his schedule and all that stuff just to answer my questions about it. I have a stubbornness about me that way where I'd rather do it and then eventually it's just like it's as broad as it is long as I make the mistakes and have to go back and fix them anyways. But I just feel weird about just like, hey, answer all my shit, and then yeah, I don't know. I did that a lot with the last during this build with the shop owner that I used to go to up in Maryland, and I felt bad for just like constantly messaging him, but he was also super helpful. He's been a good dude to work with over the last however many years we've been doing this. His shop was one of the only ones that I trusted really to take my car to. I always went there, but he's no longer. He sold the shop and all that stuff and kind of retired. So, and he deserved it. I mean, they've done so many good builds, lots of cars in magazines, stuff like that. So, um, they've done some really good quality work there. There are a couple shops in this area, I guess, down here in North Carolina, but I have not gone to any of them. What else are you currently doing to your Evo, and what car events are you going to this year? When you're doing a live stream. So currently on the car, we are going to be finishing up the trunk because I don't have those carpet liners in the trunk anymore. Those are long gone, I guess. So rather than trying to find those, they're like unicorns. You can't find them anywhere. I did find some though for a really good price like a week ago, but the shipping became an issue and it was going to cost me like $400 to have them shipped, which I just was not going to do that, I guess. But they seem to be a fortune when you do find them. So I was going to build my own. So we're working on doing that. And so we're going to be finishing up that probably, well, not finishing it, but we're going to be working on that for the next little bit, trying to get that clean and figured out. And then car events, I am looking at some things now. I'm putting some things on my schedule. My wife is pregnant and is due in the spring, so there's some shows kind of like right around her due date, so I won't be doing anything then because I want to be here obviously for that and to take care of her best I can during that time and leading up to that time and after, of course. And so don't know about that. There's a lot of spring stuff happening around then, but I would definitely will be missing those. But there is some stuff in the fall. As far as live streaming, I don't know. I definitely probably won't do it at the event. I don't. It's how can I say this? It's hard enough for me to do the videos in the garage because I just don't like talking to a camera, I guess. And so the idea of doing that at a show just seems not pretentious, I guess, but I just don't feel comfortable. I wouldn't be okay doing that. So I'll do a live stream from the events, but I have been wanting to do live streams on the channel. I'm thinking about doing it on Fridays, like in the evening time, like an after dark kind of thing, where we just kind of hang out and shoot the shit, maybe play some video games, some car games, stuff like that, just to like hang out and chat and talk about stuff. But I haven't really figured out how to implement that into the content and not like turn away people, because I don't want to like, I'm a very broad person as far as my interests, and so trying to like encapsulate like dirt bikes and cars and all that stuff and not have the audience or the algorithm think I'm trying to like do 4 different channels in one is kind of a thing that I have on the back of my head. But yeah. And to do with the base horsepower I would like to achieve, there's quite a lot of events in the UK based around cars running up high power. Oh, nice. Hey, that's how it always goes. That's with anything. Bicycles, I've worked in bike shops before, and it's always like they come in wanting to upgrade the bike because their friend's got a new bike and it's faster than theirs or whatever. So yeah, I understand that entirely. But 2000 bhp, I'm assuming base horsepower, that is I would assume you'd be at the top, but I don't know anything about it over there in the event. So yeah, that's a heck of a build. Congratulations! Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's been quite a rocky road. I'm trying to keep content flowing and take care of her because she had a really rough first trimester. It was pretty bad as far as like the nausea and sickness and all that stuff. She was down for the count quite a bit, so trying to take care of her, making sure she's hydrated and like getting food in her system and all that stuff during that time was pretty rough. And we had some things going on that didn't really talk about, but there were some pretty serious stuff, and had the stresses of that and just trying to do everything all at once. It's been quite the road, but we're almost there now. Is this your first child? Yes, it will be our first child, a little girl, and yeah, we are getting more and more excited now that she's feeling much better, and we're getting towards the end here. It's like, it seems like it's been like a blur because of all that stuff going on, and we're already at the end of it, but I'm glad she's feeling much better and is able to eat and drink and actually get out and exercise a little bit and keep herself going and all that. So because it was looking pretty bleak there at the beginning. Lots of bed sleeping all the time and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a road for sure. But as with anything, that's how it goes. I will say that I am fairly nervous about it being a girl because anytime I ever thought about it, I always assumed it would be a boy. And so I don't really, it's going to be hard doing a girl, I feel like, but you know, it'd be the same way as it would be for a boy. It's just my thought process and things have to change a little bit on a lot of stuff, and going to just try to get through the thought of changing all my thoughts about that, because I never thought about it before. So I'm definitely excited about it, but definitely changing some things up on my thought process for sure. I just had my first daughter as well. It's a lot of work, but it's an amazing experience. The long sleepless nights are tough, but it'll go by fast. Oh, well, congratulations to you as well. That sounds awesome. How old is she now? And yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be. I'm excited for it. It's already like we're getting to the stage now to where like when she kicks and things, you can kind of see it on my wife's tummy, and that's exciting to see and all that kind of stuff. And she definitely she squirms constantly. She's always moving. Anytime I go to the doctor, she's like, and they're trying to listen to her, she's like bouncing around, like moving around and all that stuff. And so she definitely has my energy level. So we're we're preparing for that because I have just endless energy, as my wife says. But I do understand that the sleepless nights are going to be a thing. But for me, I am up super late anyways. So I think my wife and I will be able to handle it in shifts pretty well because I'm up while she's sleeping. I usually go to bed when she wakes up to go to work in the mornings, and so I guess I'll handle the night shift. So I'm not too worried about the sleepless nights, but I know it'll be tough in some spots. But I think we'll be able to get through it. Congratulations, but she is your second child, the first one there. Oh, yeah, that first physical child, I guess. Just a month and a half. I've heard of many horror stories, but teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. Oh, she's super young then. Yeah. You always hear the bad stuff, but like, it's like, oh man, this is so hard, or this is that, or this is, you know. But I feel like if you teamwork and you communicate and you understand that it's a give and take kind of thing, and you have to relieve one another and pick up some tasks and stuff like that, which we do that anyways. Like I don't have that traditional kind of like way of thinking, and so we kind of share everything, and so tackling everything together is a lot easier than doing it by ourselves. And so yeah, it for sure makes things a lot easier, and I think we'll be able to handle it pretty well. But again, this is our first one, so I have no previous experience, so kind of throwing ourselves into the deep end. So we'll see how it goes from there, but I don't have any concerns about it in that sense. But there's lots of other things to stress about aside from that. We were just talking the other night about how there's just so many things to think about and consider, and things to buy, and like how to take. And I always seem to be like, here lately, we've been trying to like pick out things to like have and hear for her and everything, and I seem to always pick out clothes and whatnot, and not things to like help her survive. So we're trying to get all those supplies now. So it's a fun thing to sit down with her and go through that stuff as well. So. She will not have a shortage of onesies, that's for sure. Choose clothes that size fully up and down. Makes it. Yeah, we're trying to pick things as well that she can like, well, kind of one, scattered across the months, and two, just kind of that she's going to grow out of them fast anyways. They're not going to last long, so Zip up it. Yes, I have seen that as well. A lot of the ones that like open up and things. We've been seeing a lot of that too. So definitely have been looking at those as well. And my wife has a fairly extensive background in childcare, so she's been involved with that for years, in some form or another. So she has a lot of experience that I do not. So trying to listen to her and her experiences and things as well is definitely helpful. Man, like the wind's died down. That's a plus. How long have we been going here? We're going 35 minutes. These lives always seem to zoom by. I feel like we just get on here and I'm like swimming around trying to talk and come up with things. But you guys have been super chatty today, so I appreciate that. I always enjoy when you guys get in here and chat and talk, and it makes them go a lot better. And for people who watch it back, it's a lot less awkward, I'm sure, than seeing me sit here twiddle my thumbs. Congrats, but onto the Evo. Power goals once it's fully tuned. You know, when I owned the car the first time and we did not have a fully built motor and all that stuff, it was running 475 to the wheels. And so honestly, I don't really have like big, huge power goals in mind. I just want the car to be reliable. I'm fine with anything over 500. So 5 to 550. If we happen to get to 6, which I don't know that we will with the injectors I have and the fuel I run, because I'm not going to run E85 on it. We probably won't be near that, but anything in that range I'm happy with and fully satisfied with. I think that's plenty for a street car, at least for me. I don't want to have like 800-900 horsepower on a street car. You can't use the power properly, I feel like, and it's just introducing more things that could go wrong for a street car. And so I'm happy to keep it in the 5 to 6 range and be satisfied with that, because the car is a blast to drive either way. Would it be fun to have that much horsepower? Obviously, yes, it would be, but for a reliable sense of things, I just think it'd be better to have it in that way. But no E85 in your area, very little. I've seen a couple gas stations that have it, but yeah, it's not very widely used yet, I don't believe, in this area. And I just didn't want to risk it. And I've heard, I'm not going to be driving this car all the time, so I've heard a lot of horror stories of E85 when it sits and causing corrosion and things like that. Well, I don't know if corrosion is the right word or not, but causing things in the fuel lines and the injectors and all that stuff if you don't run it constantly. And so I was kind of worried about that as well. So just kind of decided against going E85. I know it's like an extra like 100 and some horsepower, but I just don't want to run it. I had an Evo 8 a long time ago, and we ran 118 race gas in that for a little while, and that was fun. That was wild. It was crazy to me that you could feel the difference in the fuel, but you definitely could. It was because someone somewhere mixed the gas wrong. Like we put a lower octane than it should have been in there, so they said I needed to run the 118 to kind of even it out and to kind of blow things out a little bit. So we ran that 118 for a little while, and that was a big difference. So I know what the fuel can do as far as that and like how that feels, but again, I just don't want to run the risks of E85 just yet. I may change my mind in the future, but for now, definitely gonna stick to pump, because we have 93 around here everywhere, so it's not. And to be honest with you, if I'm being totally upfront, I have not done enough research on E85 and like actually using it to know like fully what is going to go on with it. So seems like the car is primarily built for the street / pleasure. Why not go with a 2.2? Yeah, I mean, it is basically like for that. You know, there'll be some shows here and there, but and some spirited driving occasionally, but that's about what it's built for. And I don't know, 2.3, 2.4, all that. I thought about doing that, and I figured the MAP Stage 2 block was going to be enough for what I wanted to do, but I don't know, again, with that as well, I've not done enough like research into those stroker builds and things to know 100% what I'm talking about. So I want to like start talking out my ass. But yeah, I just thought that the stage 2 block would be good enough and for what I was wanting to do with it and the goals I was going for. So that's how it went. We did, I'm not sure if you were here when I talked about it earlier, but we did the MAP stage 2 block and stage 5 head. And there's 272 cams in there. And so, yeah. Well, I say 272, but I think they're 273 because I'm running the GSC S2s. So, yeah. And to be honest, I'm sitting here thinking about it now. Whenever I bought the car, I owned this car before for 6 or 7 years, and we bought it back and it was blown up. And so I had to fix the car then, and we bought a motor and all that stuff from MAP. And when I got the car back, we started doing this restoration thing. I started digging into some things, and when we got to the engine part of it, and I started seeing things that was kind of raising some alarm bells. And so it come to find out that the shop that that the car was sitting at when I bought it from the guy, and they rebuilt it because it was already there. So I let them rebuild the car. They did not, even though they charged me for it, they did not clean out the head properly. They charged me like $1,000 to send this head off and have it cleaned out. And once I got in there, started digging around, I noticed some things, and we sent it off to MAP, and the head was basically toast. Like, they didn't clean out anything in it. So it re-damaged a bunch of stuff in there. They didn't clean out the head there was like junk in the head from when the engine blew and all this kind of stuff. And so I was really just focused on getting that fixed and taken care of. And there was so much, I was pretty frustrated about it at the time, but I just wanted to get the car back and get the engine back. It had been so long as it was. And so, yeah, just wanted to get it taken care of. So I sent the MAP stage 2, the brand new, had like 500 miles on it, sent it back to MAP, and they refreshed everything, went through everything, made sure it was all good, and sent it back to me. Luckily, it didn't damage anything in the block. It was just the head was shot. They said it had a rough life, and I quote from them. So I sent the head, whenever I bought a new head and sent that one to them. That one came from MAP. I bought the head from MAP. They had, I bought the head from B&M Performance, who got the head from MAP. So it was a brand new head straight from them. But the first time, I have no idea who he sent it to. Whenever the shop built the car, I don't know who they sent it to. Obviously no one, but they were supposed to send it off to someone. So I don't know who that was. But they did not clean it as they said, or they didn't do a good job, one of the two. Either way, it was a total teardown. So that was a definite, that was an expense that was not planned for and came up out of nowhere. And that was a shocker there for a bit. But it is what it is. I contacted the guy and was going to, engage in getting it sorted out and asking him why things that were said to be done weren't done and all this stuff. And conveniently, his computers from that year had crashed. I know that was a bunch of bullshit, but that's what I was told. And so he stopped responding. So I was not going to use any more of my energy to chase it down because there was no point. It just made me more angry. So I just decided to accept it. It is what it is. And we got the car fixed. And so did what we had to do there. Just curious, what do you do to fund your build? Love the whole build. I sell things. I've been selling a lot of basically the stuff on eBay. I do online work as far as like marketing is concerned. I had a business doing that for a while, and just regular jobs. I have a regular job. I'm not a full-blown YouTuber, but yeah, just jobs and stuff like that. To take out small loans here and there and take care of some things, and then just gotta do what you gotta do. Trying to make the content thing work, and doing what I can to, making some questionable, I guess, financial decisions to try to push things forward. So yeah, my wife and I have decided to, that's what it was, and that was how to tackle it. And so it's nice to have the support and the support to be able to do that. And so yeah, That's what we're doing. And that's partly why, you know, you see this has taken, what, 2.5 years now to get to the point we're at now. It's just a slow process when you're doing it that way. I don't have the ability to just order, you know, thousands of dollars worth of stuff, even though it seems like I do, and I do have the freedom to do that, but I cannot do like a typical like YouTube build and we rebuild and refresh the whole car in a month. It's not feasible. It's not possible. It's wanted to do the carbon hood dampers till I saw your video. Well, I mean, I hate to deter from them, but I mean, I did have some struggles with those things. I do have them still on the car now, but like I said, once we do some paint on this thing, which is going to happen probably in the springtime, I'm going to paint the car. I don't know if I'm going to put them back on or not. I just don't. If that would have been fresh paint on the fenders and that scratching and that thing digging in, that would have been sick. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put them back on there or not come springtime. They're cool. I mean, it's super nice to be able to just like pop the hood and it raises up and holds it there. There's no like prop in the way. You can get in there and work around, do what you got to do. But yeah, don't know if I can handle those or not. Are there other YouTube Evo builds you took motivation from? Honestly, before I started this whole thing, I watched a lot of Devin Niemola. I watched a lot of his stuff. Devin was putting out tons of Evo videos. I mean, he still does. Obviously, he's the Evo guy, but at the time, like several years ago, he was seemed like he was building a new one all the time, and so I just watched a lot of his stuff and learned a lot from him, and watched a lot of like other Evo content. There's a guy, what's his channel name? Boosted Films. Watched his stuff. Watched a lot of Boosted Film stuff. He has a lot of good like in-depth things. Has a lot of resources in his like descriptions of his videos. That's where I found like the manual for all the torque specs and all that stuff. He provided that in his description for his video. I don't know which video it was, but he had a lot of good information as well. And just kind of, I've been around, like I said, I've been around the Evo like platform for years. So just kind of taking the, I guess, knowledge I've gathered and then watching all that stuff and kind of putting it all together and just kind of jumping in head first. That's kind of got me started on that, but definitely look at his stuff for like motivation and things to do, projects that I would have not normally have done. But as far as like my OCDs and things like that, I'd start something and then it's supposed to just be like, okay, I'm gonna fix this, and then it kind of snowballs into something else, and we end up replacing every washer on the car. So that's that's how that usually goes. Once I dive into something, I'm usually all in, like just regardless. I kind of get in it. It could be argued that's kind of like a fault sometimes, but I do just kind of go feet first, all in, like 100%. And so kind of take things as they come and have a lot of it is what it is moments, but that's usually what ends up getting me there. But I do watch a lot of other like YouTube content too. I like watching Smedia's builds. He does a lot of cool stuff. There's just a lot of like creators that I take stuff from and just inspiration from. Do you have an Evolution M account? I do. I don't remember what it was. It's been years since I've been on there, like logged in. I do check that forum frequently, but not logged in. But yeah, I did have an Evo M account for quite a while. I may have to try to find that and like try to log into that. But yeah, I wish that was more active, honestly. I wish that, I don't know why it went away. It seemed like everyone went to like Facebook groups, which I wish they'd get away from that. I wish they'd go back to the forums where everyone, like, there's a dedicated place to go for information and to communicate and talk and all that. But it seems like forums are a thing of the past. But I wish they'd make a comeback or at least be somewhat more active than they are. I do see a lot of like comments on posts and things from recent years, like, you know, is anyone still here? Does anyone still use this? And so that's encouraging to see. So maybe they'll have a resurgence here in the next couple of years, the next year or so. I don't foresee it, but, you know, maybe. Still a ton of great, yeah. Still a ton of stuff. I mean, I found many an article from '06. I mean, a long time ago, '05, to help out. I mean, there's a lot of information on there. A lot of years of documentation. People putting their builds on there, breaking things down, and doing things like that. So yeah, 100%. I hope they never like take the servers down or take the site down, because that would be very sad to see. 'Cause that's a lot of information gone. Yep, 100%. It's a great resource. I mean, if you have a question and you Google it, chances are, I mean, you're going to find it on there. Honda power all day. Hey, it makes some good power. I thought very seriously about putting a K24 in the Tacoma we have outside. So yeah, I definitely. I've never worked on Hondas, never had a Honda, but I definitely was interested in the K24 swap. What Honda do you have? And maybe it's just the Evo forum, because I do see a lot of like other forums for other cars that are still very active. I got the same thing with my wife's BMW. There's a lot of forums about that, and there's a lot of people still on there active about those things. So car forums are still a really good source of information, but definitely isn't in the prime like it was, many years ago. But it's still a great source, and it's still all archived information. So you might not get the response you're looking for as fast as you used to be able to, but I'm about to do a rebuild on my 9 motor, and I'm genuinely curious as far as instrument rebuild goes, how much you spent on it. Oh boy. I try to not think about it, so it's going to be kind of like a hard ballpark, but I think, I'm trying to think of how much I bought the block for, because I bought everything put together. I bought the whole kit, the stage 2 thing from MAP. So the short block came already assembled. I forget what I spent on that, but I know I spent like $5K on the head. It was a 9 head, which was, like I said, that was a gut punch. It was not something I was expecting, but had to have it. So you can't. Like I said, lots of is what it is moments, but that was that, and that came fully put together as well. So I had all the goodies in there as far as that goes too. So that's all encompassed kind of stuff there, but I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to like really dig into it. I try to like not do that because it would just make me nauseous. So yeah, it was a lot, I would say, but the answer is yes. How much money did you spend? Yes, that's a fact. That is a fact. Just smile and nod. Because I replaced a lot of stuff too. I put a lot of new like OEM stuff on there. Like I said, I sold a bunch of stuff. I sold my old Tacoma. I sold like just trying to any way you can to like try to get what you can. Sold a lot of OEM stuff. Replaced it with OEM stuff. Replaced a lot of stuff that probably would have been fine, but again, my OCD wouldn't let me. If it's like I'm already here, I'm already got the thing torn apart, so I might as well put new stuff onto it. Some stuff you can't avoid, like oil coolers, things like that. Anytime there's like an engine failure or something like that, you gotta replace all that oil stuff. So I did a lot of that stuff, all the new lines, like just everything. Yeah, it's hard to put it all into a ballpark. But yes, the answer is yes. There was money spent. Did you rebuild the motor yourself outside of the machining? Yeah, as far as like putting the short block together, yeah, I did all that, put the cams in, everything. I didn't do any of the head work, none of the like rod and piston work, none of that stuff. That was all done by MAP, and I bought it that way. But putting it all back together, yeah, I did all that from scratch. First time I've ever done that. Never done it before in my life. And it was just like, all right, let's watch some videos and we'll learn some things. I have the spec sheet, so I know what to put them at, so it can't be like that hard. But it was definitely stressful. It was definitely times where I was like, not like trying to find motivation, but I was struggling like to get myself to come out here and film it, because I'm like unsure of myself, because I question myself and my skills just from the get-go. So the second guessing and all that stuff was a block I had to get past several times. But yeah, I just ultimately had to do it, had to dive into it. And that's probably why I enjoy the YouTube channel, because it holds me accountable. Because otherwise I would probably just have, I don't know if, I wouldn't have stopped, but it would have been easier to push it off, I would say. But I could push it off for so long, and I'm like, okay, gotta do it. You gotta get in the zone and take care of this thing. So yeah, just did what we had to do there. But was definitely an experience. Was fun. I enjoyed tinkering in there, doing all that stuff. But the first start was definitely a nerve-wracking time, because I'm like, I put this together. It's no one's fault but my own. So if something goes wrong, it's all on me. And so I was really crossing my fingers that nothing was going to go on. I would say there's not a lot of like sleepless nights, but I definitely had several nights of like struggling to fall asleep, which I do that anyway. I have a problem going to sleep as it is, but my mind just constantly races. There's constantly, I don't even know what to put a number on it, but there's several thought paths and conversations going on in my head at all times, and it's very hard to shut it down. But I've been dealing with it for as long as I can remember, so that's how my head works. I think the earlier Evos look a lot better now. I think the Evo 10s are not Evos. It's a whole different car to me in my head. They changed the engine, all that stuff, the platform, everything. I think the 8s and the 9s are the textbook look of an Evo. That's like what I associate it with, and I think it's the best looking as far as like the body lines and everything. But I do like the Evo 4s, 5s, and 6s. Those are cool looking cars. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the Evo like 1, 2, 3, kind of like the Mirage looking like ones. Not like a big fan of those, but I definitely think the Evo 5s and stuff like that look super cool. I like them all. I mean, they're all great, but as far as like if I were to tier it, it would be the 8, 9, and then 4, 5, 6, and yeah, on. But you ever look at your build and go, I should have bought this instead? No, I've never had that. Like I said, I owned this exact car for 6 or 7 years, and I sold it, and I hated it every day till 6 years later, roundabout. I tracked the car back down by the VIN number and bought it back. So I love this car. I love the platform. Always have since I owned the first one. I bought an Evo 8 in 2005, and since then I've been hooked. And I always have loved this platform. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just how it drives, how it feels, how it sounds. I love it. So I would have not. I'm not one of those guys that is real big into the like, what would you call them? Not like supercars and stuff like that, but like, like the higher echelon of like sports cars. I just don't have a desire to have those or anything like that. I'd rather have something like this where it's like, you can work on it. It's easy to work on. It's easy to get parts. There's something about how it feels. Granted, I've never driven those, so I may be basing it off of no knowledge whatsoever. So I can only say what I can say, but I have driven several different cars, and this one it's hard to beat. I don't know. It's like you either love the platform for as it is, or you see it as an investment. And I just love the platform. I'll never sell this car again. I know that for sure. This one will be in the garage forever. And so, and like I said, I do plan on having another one to do as like a track kind of race car kind of thing. So, yeah, I just love the platform. I drove after I got rid of I didn't get rid of it, but after the Evo 8 was gone, I tried to replace it, and I just could not. I just couldn't find a car that I liked that fit that, like there was a spot missing. And yeah, I bought in 2016. I thought maybe the Focus RS was going to be the ticket. It's an all-wheel drive car. It seems to be super cool. They're hyping it up, all this stuff, and I bought it, and it was just I just did not like it whatsoever. It was fun, in certain parts, but it seemed like it just fell on its face in second gear, and I just didn't like how it drove after the fact. It wasn't, I don't think the hype was there for me once I drove it and owned it. And so we got rid of that in like 3 months. And so, yeah, I knew I had to have another Evo and was able to track this one down, thank goodness. And yeah, now it's gonna be in the garage. So how the hell do you track a car down by its VIN? Well, I had the VIN number from the paperwork I had the first time, and so I knew what the VIN number was, and so I went online and I searched it and I looked it up, and you can go in like Carfaxes and you can see where the car goes, and I knew I sold the car to a guy from Pennsylvania. And so I went on Facebook and I went into some Evo groups in Pennsylvania, put a picture of the car on there, and I was like, has anyone seen this car? Does anyone know this car? It was last seen in Pennsylvania 6 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And one thing led to the next, a couple comments here and there. And I was put in contact with the guy that owned it, that just sold it. And then I was like, I know this is weird, but can you please give me the guy's phone number that you sold it to? And he did. And I was like, I texted the guy, I was like, listen, I know this is super out of the blue, super random. I'm just a random guy, but will you sell that car to me? And he didn't want to sell it at first, which makes sense. But after a while, about 6 months or so, I think, he was like, you know what, I'll sell it. And so I bought it, and there it sits. So that's the wild story of that. Facebook groups and the VIN number, and you can track it down, or I did anyway. More referring to parts and build aspect of the Evo. Sorry, the Evo is the best platform. Well, I will say, as far as parts are concerned, they are getting harder to come by. I mean, they are discontinuing a lot of stuff, and so it's I don't know. I don't think I would have still. I'm not sure like what exactly you're referring to as far as like parts, as like ease of use, ease of getting your hands on them, stuff like that. But yeah. Would you take on redoing this or versions of this for potential clients, or have Evos that would love you to work on them? I don't think so. I know the stresses that I put on myself building this car, and I just don't know if I trust myself enough to do that to someone else's car and to have their safety in my hands. I just don't know yet if I would want to do that or not. I've definitely thought about opening up a shop and kind of like having like a customizing kind of thing, and like hiring mechanics and whatnot to do stuff like that. And I could kind of like, not consult, but kind of guide and like parts, things I would do to it, suggestions, stuff like that. But again, I just feel like that's me tooting my own horn too much. I don't know, that feels weird to me too. I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't be opposed to like guiding someone through that. But as far as doing the work and tearing it down like I did, this was the first car I've ever done this to. So I am not a mechanic by any means. I don't claim to be. So yeah, I just don't know if I want to put that stress on myself of having someone else's car in my hands like that. I have a Focus ST and an Evo 9. Nice. Now see, I've heard that the STs are like little RC cars. I heard they're super fun to drive. So I was like, well, maybe since the RS, it has more power, et cetera, it'll be just as fun as they say the STs are. But I don't know. I still feel like people prefer the ST over the RS even to this point. My neighbor has an ST, and he said he loves it. And so it definitely, I don't know. It's one of those things. I just I think the what's the smaller version of the Focus ST? Starts with an F2, I think. The Fiesta. I've heard those are fun to drive too. Like for the power to weight and the size of the car, I've heard those are super fun to drive too. I thought about doing one of those at some point as a build, but that'll be way on down the line. But I wouldn't be opposed to building those either, because they seem to be fun and everyone seems to enjoy them. So thanks for the response. I just finished my engine build as well, and ironically, oops, sorry, I messed up the line there. And ironically, and even using the same tuner, I watched your process and well done. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. But yeah, that's the first time I've done a remote tune too. And so that process was definitely a learning experience, definitely interesting and fun to do as well. And man, I don't know if you've watched the last couple of videos where I've like started the car from inside and you could hear it inside there, but I knew it would help, but I was shocked at how quiet the car is on the inside of the cabin now. But I mean, I did put down quite a bit of sound deadening material, but damn, I just was not expecting that whatsoever. And the car, like, should begin. The car doors, they shut and they sound so solid now. They're not like super heavy, but they are heavier, and they just, I mean, it's just a solid feel. And that coupled with the sound deadening, like the actual sound deadening, it's just wild. I've ran the Dynamat stuff in the past, but this SoundSkin stuff was definitely a game changer. And like I said in the videos, it's a full titanium exhaust, and everyone complains about the titanium exhaust being too loud. I don't mind it. I mean, I have like the dirt bikes and stuff like that. They're super loud too, so I don't mind the loudness. I actually had an exhaust on this car one time. It was the downpipe, and then I had a turn down pipe, so the exhaust ended at the front wheels, and that was loud. That was super loud. So I don't mind it, but just the overall, like, being able to talk to someone in the car without yelling and raising your voice a bunch is going to be awesome. Just watched a few minutes ago and noticed you were live now. Nice. Thanks for recording the whole process. I sent the vids to my guy who's building my car. That's awesome. I never thought that, like I said, I just started documenting, like, first time doing this, learning along the way, and I just wanted to document as much as I could, and I wanted to show. I'm sure it gets kind of old to people who are building cars and know what things like that. I'm showing everything. I'm showing, like, I feel like sometimes I show too much detail, and I'm like, this can't be a video by itself. But I'm like, but I want to show it. I want to show the process. I want to show the learning of it. I want to show the steps and like how intricate and detailed it is. It's not just like, oh yeah, here it is, it's done, it's completed, I did all this work. You didn't see any of it, but I do feel like sometimes I break it down too much and show too much detail, and it can be kind of boring, but it's what I wanted to do, it's what I wanted to show, so can't be too mad at it. But I'm glad you're seeing some value in the videos. That makes me feel super good, and I appreciate it. For instance, choosing parts to buy and install, since there's so many variables, turbo choices, and manifold. Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. The Skunk 2 manifold, you've been on Evo M, so you know, for years that's been talked about as like kind of like a part that isn't really, there's some fail points, and so I would probably not do that again, even though I did have some issues with like the oil stick thing where the dipstick goes in there, but they fixed that. They took care of all the issues I had, but there were issues. And so, and even with, I don't know, I was frustrated at the time because putting on the intake manifold, there were some things that like weren't lining up properly and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, after this many years of doing this, and with the technology we have now, of being able to scan things and scan parts, everything should fit. Like I feel like with stuff like that that's been around forever, there's not an excuse. I was frustrated at the time, but I would probably do a different intake manifold, or probably like port a stock one, because I hear that porting a stock one's basically the same thing. But yeah, it's a showpiece kind of thing, I do feel like, but and obviously it functions, but having that on there, it's not the stock one. So yeah, I don't know. That was one piece that I probably would have changed. Now that I know what you're asking. Probably would have changed that. The FP Black, I love. I don't know. I mean, there are tons of choices. If I were to change the turbo, which I may in the future to kind of get an extra bit of horsepower, not sure, but the AGT turbos, I think it's a 58 millimeter, something like that. I'm not sure of the millimeters, but I'd run his again probably. But I love the FP Black. It's a stock frame turbo. You can get good horsepower out of it, and it's still. It has that stock feel. There's no like lag in it. So I love the stock frame idea of it. I mean, a big turbo is cool and all, but I just don't like the lag aspect or the thought behind it. So having that stock frame turbo for me was always a big deal. And when I first put that FP Black on the car years ago, it was just wild feeling. So I knew that I liked that one and stuff. I always stuck with the FP Black. But yeah, there are tons of things you can do, tons of parts, tons of things to decide. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have changed the Tomei exhaust. People talked about how loud it was. Like I said, I don't mind the loud, I don't mind the noise. So I would have always done that. It just looks cool. I love the titanium. It's 7 pounds, the whole exhaust. So yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of things I would change, really. I think the parts I picked are kind of evergreen parts. They've been around for a while, and they've been proven and tested and all that. And using STM parts and everything, they have high quality parts. All the radium stuff for the fuel system is, I mean, of the highest quality. I couldn't say enough good things about them and their parts. Everything fit perfectly, all that. So yeah, just taking your time and sorting out the parts, reading online, lots of reading, and seeing what issues pop up. I overlooked those issues on the skunk tube manifold, and that's kind of what, it kind of bit me a little bit, but not really. But that was the most issues I think I had with a part that I bought. But you showing how intricate and detail is awesome. We can learn if you make mistakes. I'm glad you see it that way. I really hope that that everyone else does as well. Like I said, I'm not trying to be, I guess in my head, I feel like sometimes I'm trying to I'm not trying to milk content. I'm not trying to just stay on one task forever, but it takes a while. I mean, these car builds, if you do it right and you do it cautiously and you want to do it right the first time, it takes time. And I feel like showing that and showing how long it takes and actually what goes on, that's just part of it. I feel like showing a car that's built and redone super fast is unrealistic to a lot. I just don't, I've never understood that really, I guess, but because there is so much that goes into it. There is so much work, so much intricate stuff, especially on the wiring. I felt the most about that on the wiring stuff because it was so intricate and took so long. But, like I said, I wanted to show everything. I wanted to show every step of the way. I wanted to document everything for my own personal benefit and for everyone else's, and to build the channel and grow the channel and all that. So for me, it was content, and I wanted to do it. So always had that in mind and thought if it was too much detail, it is what it is. I try to not take into account the numbers and analytics of things and just do it because I want to do it. So yeah, not at all well done. Your process is transparent. Even helped my guy along the way with some part. That's awesome. I mean, I really appreciate it. I'm like I said, I'm glad you're finding value in the videos and it's helping you along the way. It's super cool. I do get, it still blows my mind. You guys comment sometimes on my videos and comments on Instagram and things, and it's really humbling a bunch how you guys are taking the videos and how you enjoy them and stuff like that. I never thought that we would grow to what we are now, and continually growing. It's still steadily growing, and so it's just it's cool. I never thought we'd be where we are, and much less to continue to grow. So I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Roughly how many hours does build? Oh, man, I don't even, it's been hundreds. I added it up based on what a shop would have charged me to do this. And I mean, it was ridiculous. But hours, I don't even know what to put on it. I'm trying to break down every task. It's been every day I do something on it. I work on it every day. To an extent, I mean, several hundred hours. I don't even know what to even put on it. Several hundred. I love the MHI housing turbos. Have you looked at any of the EFR turbos or G series on our platform? I have not. No. I obviously the Garrett stuff that's a big name. You'll always have quality with those things. But I mostly only looked at the FP stuff and the HET stuff. Well done again. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully the people that have joined the channel for Evo content is not turned away whenever we switch to the truck here soon. I know it's not Evo content, but the same detail and the same intricacies and stuff like that I did on the Eva are going to be done to that truck. I'm not going to change. It's just who I am. I'm not going to, the build's going to be the same. So if you like the detail-oriented stuff and the little nitpicky things and seeing all that stuff, it'll be the same there. But I do notice that when I upload a Tacoma video, it doesn't do as well at first, which it's whatever. Like I said, I'm going to do it regardless because I want to do it. I don't try to look at the numbers all that much to kind of guide my content. And so but they do better longer term. The longer they're up, the better they do. So yeah, I just like building things. I like tinkering with things. I like dirt bikes. I like cars. Anything that has an engine and goes fast is fun to me, and I love the art aspect of it and putting my touch on it and making it my own. There's thousands of Evos out there. There's thousands of Tacomas out there, but I can make it my own in my own way, and so I love adding those little intricate pieces that people don't look for or are surprised to see, like the titanium like seat bolts and stuff like that on this thing. Just little touches here and there that has my own little flair onto them. I've always been that way with my cars and stuff. Oh, everything really. I mean, that's why I have that shirt that says modify everything. I've always been that way. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the Tacoma truck content as well, because we are going to be starting on that here soon. We're going to be stripping out the rest of the interior, painting all that. The idea and the plan, not sure how we're going to get there yet, but the idea and the plan is to do the 1JZ swap. It'll be a little drift truck, so it'll be super fun to do that too. So I'm excited to start it because I've always wanted to do that. And so I'll be happy to get that thing going, all the wiring and jazz. I want to teach myself how to weld. I want to learn to weld on this project with the truck, because I feel like mini trucks and things like that, having that skill is pretty important. So I want to learn how to weld and be able to repair things, fix things, create things, because a lot of parts don't exist. So you got to make them. And so, yeah, anything to broaden my knowledge and my skill set, I'm going to do. So, yeah. Last night I was actually researching, I was trying to figure out how wide the rear subframe is on the Evo. So I was like, what if I could put the rear end of an Evo on the Tacoma and like weld that into like a tubular kind of thing and make a whole piece back there, but I don't know how well that would work out. So yeah, we're gonna put a new rear end into it, and we're gonna cut the frame and like kind of arch it, or we're gonna notch the frame, I guess you could say. It's a C notch. We'll notch that so the actuator can sit down real low. We'll do coilovers on it, stuff like that. So there's gonna be some welding involved. So I know you bought your block and head. Are you planning to learn how to build and assemble more motors in the future? I would like to, yeah. I didn't have I say time, but I didn't have the tools and stuff like that. And I was already in deep, because I had zero plans, none, of touching that motor. And so I was already kind of thrown into the deep end on that. So I was kind of up to my neck in water as far as that goes with what I was doing. So putting that together like that was good for that time, my first time doing that, but I would like to learn how to do that. I know there's a lot of measurements and a lot of mathing that goes on doing that, but I think it'd be cool to install like the valves and things like that in a head, and rods and pistons and everything. I never did it, but like we did the same thing on my dirt bikes growing up. Like we would do that and put in motors and stuff, but my dad did most of that in some shops that we knew, but I would like to do that for sure. Just to learn that and to have that in my pocket of things I can do and can do or would want to do for the future. That's kind of why I'm like thinking about it here. I'm trying to that's kind of why I wanted to do like the whole 1JZ thing, is it's a new motor, it's a new platform, so new things to learn. So I'm excited about that. I think you can do it. Well, I appreciate it. I do have a lot of blind confidence, but I also have a lot of self-doubt, and I do fight that quite a bit. Always have, but I appreciate that. But I just got, when I swiped up there, I just got a notification on my phone that my battery is dying. So we've been on here for about 80 minutes, which is kind of wild. I appreciate everyone joining and chatting and talking. This was a super fun live. I worry doing these sometimes. I do them so sporadically. I'm like, who's gonna pop on there? So I always enjoy seeing you guys come on and chatting and talking, and we can talk about things and all that. So I appreciate that very much. If you're watching this in the future, thanks for watching it if you're this far along. And yeah, I always say it every time, but I always get caught up. But I do want to do more of these. So hopefully here soon we can get on that and do some more of these things. But self-doubt is good. It's assurance you're doing it right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do. I mean, I have self-doubt almost to a fault, but it definitely, because I never want to sound like too cocky. I never want to sound too, because I don't know everything. No one does, and I'm always willing to learn, and I'm always learning something new. So I just doubt myself a lot, and yeah, I think it is good to have that in a way because you're doing it right and you're checking yourself. But also, I do have a lot of blind confidence. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off here before it cuts me off. So yeah, thanks for joining again. Thanks for chatting. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one, and I will talk to you guys in the comments of the videos. See ya. Bye.